Good morning and welcome to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE and streaming online at kvre.com. I've got the OJ. Tracy's got whatever's in his cup. Tracy.
Not going there, Mark.
Good morning.
Saturday morning.
It's been a big week in sports. How are you doing this week?
Yeah, we're doing well. Sports has a lot to do with, outside most of the time. And the weather has been a part of it, and I think that even with the NCAA, with the guys and softball and everything playing, we've seen some games delayed.
Oh yes,
we've got lots to talk about. You've endured some weather happenings before, so you know what it's all about, and that's one of these stories that we'll be talking about for years and years and years. The marathon softball game is what we're calling it. I'm sure you got your own words for it, but we'll bring that up at another time.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of things going on, a lot of extended stuff going on because of the weather, but they did get some things completed, and I think we got a good storyline in front of us today. I think we got a lot to talk about.
Got a lot to talk about, Tracy, and the biggest story probably across all of the sporting world this week is gambling in professional sports. Of course, really a few years ago, there was a lot of leniency as the lift off of gambling, and you see professional gambling sites like your DraftKings and your FanDuel, and people have been doing fantasy sports for quite a long time, and people have been gambling on the side, attaching money and wagers to it. It's been happening for a long time, but now you see this sense of normalcy where there's legality and legitimacy to it. And of course, with Vegas and everything like that, you're able to really legally gamble on sports. Of course, it causes a lot of problems as well. There's gambling addiction, which is absolutely a huge epidemic here in the United States. And then, of course, in the professional ranks, we've seen multiple stories, not only through the years, but here recently, of athletes betting on games while they're actively involved with the sport. And that's where our story begins this week. Big news out of Major League Baseball. Tucupita Marcano for the San Diego Padres receives a lifetime ban from the MLB for his role in betting, placing bets while actively a member specifically of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization previously. But also now currently with the San Diego Padres. So Tracy, with the resurgence of gambling in sports and it being out there, you can grab your phone and in a couple of clicks, you can place a bet on who's going to win this game. And, we've got NBA finals going on and Stanley Cup finals going on right around the corner. And it's so easy to go in and place a wager. I think this team's going to win, maybe trying to win me some money. Everybody has the American dream of hitting the lottery, hitting it big and, being able to live comfortably the rest of their life. And it's not so easy, of course, when it comes to sports gambling. But here in this situation, Marcano placing hundreds of bets on baseball, nearly 400 bets totaling more than $150,000. And he is the first active MLB player banned since 1924. And of course, when we talk about betting in sports and gambling in sports, the big name that pops up is absolutely Pete Rose, which was gambling on games as a manager, not as a player,
right.
but also not on games that he was part of.
Big separation.
There's a huge controversy still today involved with that, and I am in that club that believes that Pete Rose should have it overturned and be in the Hall of Fame. He's the all-time hits leader, and regardless of whether he gambled or bet on games, he still did all that at the plate. He's
still Mr. 3000.
If anything, he bet on himself, and he did it quite often. Right. But so that's a hill that I will always die on, and maybe we'll see. But we were talking about Reggie Bush getting his Heisman Trophy back, and could that possibly mean that Pete Rose one day, changing at the guard, some of these writers, whether they retire or die or lose their positions, whatever, could we see a younger generation make this wave happen? As of this week, I think that answer is going to be no, because of this ban here. Marcano is not a big name player in the MLB. He's not a mega $1 million superstar. He's not even a household name on his team. So because of that, Marcano bets on games, and one of the questions I'll ask you here in a second. So specifically, Marcano had 25 related bets on games with the Pittsburgh Pirates while he was with the team, active member, active roster. However, he was not a member of those games because he was actually sidelined at the time due to a season-ending injury. Still, he gets the lifetime ban. He is the scapegoat, if you will, for a sport that certainly wants to protect its legitimacy, its integrity. This is a message being sent to everybody across not only the MLB, but all sports saying, if you bet while you're a player, you are going to lose in a big way.
Mark, and here's the deal, though. You just said scapegoat. Obviously, he was not the only one in on this.
You're right.
You know what I mean? And they know. But let's go back a little bit further, what you're saying. The writers of the world, okay? Somebody gave Reggie Bush his trophy back. Somebody gave all them their wins back and stuff like that. That wasn't the writers. The writers ultimately the ones that vote in, who's in, who's out, and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
The AP and, blah, all that other stuff.
And baseball is very conservative there.
Right. So, but it wasn't the writers that gave Reggie it back, and it wasn't the writers that banned him. Okay, so who's this mystery foe out there? Is it because there's not judges? There's one guy. Okay, there's ultimately one guy, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, whatever the case. There's one guy that says yay or nay. There's not a team of whatever. So it's up to one person to yay or nay. Now, in the likes of Pete Rose, he has gone back with attorneys and everything else and pleaded his case time and now he's to the point where he's like, duck it. Okay, I'm not going to, whine anymore. And absolutely, should that be brought up? Yes, absolutely, it should be brought back up. And I'm on your side with that one. But on the other side, I cannot understand. I'm watching pro football, I'm watching pro basketball, I'm watching all these pro sports, and to the like of me, the announcers are sending you to a site to go gamble. Now, wait a minute. What is that telling the rest of the fan base out there that it's okay? But if you're playing there, Lord help you if you gamble on another team, and I can see where it's their team, and I can shaving a few points here. And I'm sorry to bring up your Sox guys and stuff like that.
It's true.
But if you're gambling on another team you have no bearing on the outcome of that game, what in the world? Where is this leading us to? When the announcers are on the TV telling you, or on the radio telling you that if you go to this site, we're gonna give you $200 bonus right now.
Hey, money talks, right?
Exactly.
And it's, Tracy, you're absolutely right. It's all about accessibility. I just talked about it a few minutes ago. You can pick up your phone, download the app. Now, I'll ask you here in a moment. So it is not in my character as a person. I'm just not a gambling person. Some people are. Some people do well. For me, I can't lose if I don't play. I'm the glass half empty kind of guy, which means, no, I will never win the lottery. I will never have the winning Powerball numbers because I can't personally justify going and buying the tickets and all that. Some people can, and some people do very well. I've bet at Oaklawn before, like 3 times in my life on horses.
Right.
And
I may have that many times.
I won like $16 one time, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool with this. I'm done. I don't have gambling in me. I know that you're probably a little bit on the different side of that with your involvement with Oaklawn and things like that, but it's so accessible to get into it. And you're right, it is a huge moneymaker.
It's a market unbelievable.
And I've played fantasy sports now for decades, and I've never attached any money to it. It's all just for fun and bragging rights and things. But there's fantasy leagues or daily fantasy where it's basically gambling, and you can make money. And some people do very, very well for themselves there if you're really smart and put in the time. I know people personally, like on my Facebook, I have friends that don't have a real job, but they gamble on sports. And that's how they survive. And I guess they survive. It seems like in the pictures that they post with their cars and everything, it seems like they're doing okay. There may be more behind the scenes, who knows? But certainly at face value, it looks like people do okay with this kind of thing. But to get back on track, Major League Baseball specifically has a rule. It's called Rule 21. It's posted in the clubhouse of every single organization. And it lists two things. It basically says, one, caught betting for caught gambling for another team, banned for a year. Caught betting, gambling for a team that you're a part of, lifetime ban. They spell it out specifically here. So Marcano gets it. He's the scapegoat. And we can go back to the Ohtani thing also, because
I was bringing it.
His interpreter gets all the Ohtani, who's the face of baseball, doesn't get anything. Not even a slap on the wrist. And
they didn't even do any background.
Well, conspiracy theories abound, and sure, no matter where you, me, or the listener lands on this, the truth is Ohtani did not get in trouble for this at all, and maybe he's completely innocent, and that's fine. But you look at Marcano. Okay, you're a professional athlete. This is so stupid. Like, how can you be so stupid to do this? I don't necessarily know if I hold that view, because here I am. I'm looking at Marcano. I'm looking at his numbers. He bats like .217 lifetime. He's never going to be an all-star. He's never a big market guy. He doesn't have a multi-million-dollar contract. So if he has the opportunity, he has a pro contract. It's worth a good amount of money, yes. But it makes me wonder if these athletes are resulting to this gambling thing because they need that little extra money, or maybe it's an addiction thing, or who knows. I'm speculating at this point, but to risk it all, to risk your career on this, and the chance that you could get caught, I think says a whole lot about maybe the contracts in the MLB, and it also goes back to the steroid scandal as well. People knew that they were risking it all, but the opportunity to make the money, that risk was so great that they gambled on that, and sometimes they lose everything.
Well, we're at the 2-minute warning right now, and as it is in the first quarter, we got to look at it at a different time, Mark, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Is it worth it? I mean, every contract with MLB, even the lowest paid players make a lot of money.
Make more money than I do.
There you go. And you just said a while ago,
it's still life-changing money.
You don't resort back to gambling, so why did they have to? The baggage, the concept of maybe being hooked, I don't know, whatever the case is, but you got to draw the line right there. If they let him go by, then whether he's a scapegoat or not,
right,
then everybody's going to get on board, and we will talk further about this. I have a feeling down the road, but as it is right now, second quarter's coming up, first quarter's time's running out, and we will talk more about that at a different time. Your thoughts on it, 915-1300. Second quarter coming up with Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here at 92.9, and we're streaming at KVRE.com.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Time to talk NBA. The NBA Finals are upon us, and last time we talked, Tracy, we knew the Boston Celtics were in, and we had a feeling that the Dallas Mavericks would cross that finish line. No team had ever come down from a 3-0 deficit. The Minnesota Timberwolves had a great run, couldn't get it done, and here we are. And what a juicy matchup we have in this year's championship series. You have the storied Boston Celtics franchise that's won so many NBA titles and seen so many Hall of Fame athletes, so many jerseys retired in the rafters, and really an up-and-coming Dallas Mavericks squad that has maybe taken a few years to kind of put the pieces back together. It's been a long time since 2011 where Dirk Nowitzki took down LeBron James in the finals, and that was really the crowning moment for this Dallas Mavericks organization, and they've been striving for now 13 years to get back to that stage, getting so close. In 2018, they did a draft swap. They had the opportunity to get Trae Young. They ended up swapping for Luka Doncic, and it has been absolutely the greatest decision that this organization has made. Doncic may very well go down as the best Dallas Maverick in Mavericks history, but now he's got to try to get across the finish line against a good Boston Celtics team here. Let's talk a little bit about what Luka has accomplished up to this point. Certainly one of the best scoring duos paired with Kyrie Irving this season. With his ability to turn triple doubles really helped put OKC out to pasture, if you will, the number 1 seed in the West, coming in against a very good, solid, talented, defensive Timberwolves squad, taking care of them 4-1. It really feels like, that 5 seed that's attached to the Dallas Mavericks name is very, very misleading with the squad that they have going here, because Luka and Kyrie are the real deal. They're certainly the best offensive squad in the NBA. And, Luka coming in, he's 25 years old. He leads the postseason coming into the finals, leads the postseason in points, rebounds, and assists. He's the first player in NBA history to lead in all three of those categories going into an NBA Finals. And I had to double check that stat because I couldn't believe it based on the level of talent and superstars that we've seen at the NBA's biggest stage. It's a pretty big deal. Doncic enters a very elite group of players. He has 5 All-Stars and 5 NBA All-First Team honors before reaching the NBA Finals for the first time. And the other names on that list include Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Oscar Robertson, Bob Cousy, and the great Michael Jordan. So Luka is with elite company here, and now eyeing up one of the best defensive teams in the NBA in the Boston Celtics, where maybe their road was a little bit wild and interesting to get here, but the truth is the number 1 seed in the East got it done when it mattered the most. They beat the teams that were laid in front of them, whether they were injury-laden or not, taking out the Pacers and taking care of the Knicks and ultimately just getting to the final stage here. I'm really excited for this matchup. Great defense out of the Celtics. Is it enough to stop the high-powered offense of the Mavericks? I guess that's what we're in for this series.
Mark, and you were talking about dynasties and such like that and championships. They've won 17 of them, but not in a long time.
That's right.
So I'm thinking they're just as hungry because if you think about it, a lot of these players maybe were born when the last time they won one. Probably not. But as it is right now, you're talking about a team that's hungry, and so is Dallas. They're both hungry, obviously. Now, 2 players on each team, can that make the difference? I don't know, but right now, Luka is just, the sky's the limit for that guy. I've never seen him take a bad shot, or at least he doesn't think it, and he pulls off some stuff that's unbelievable, man. But as it is right now, this is going to be a key matchup. I think that I think their scoring is going to be high. I really do on this. Sky's the limit. You go over to Boston, they're averaging, 114 a game, and then Dallas is right there with them at 112. So it could be the difference. And don't get me wrong on this, okay? Foul trouble. I'm just telling you.
Could be a thing.
Boston carries a lot of weight with the fouls, and it seems like this has been their nemesis through the whole situation. And it almost got them on that last series. It went Game 7 because of foul trouble. I think that's an interesting concept. What do you think?
I think that one of the biggest factors that I'm looking toward in this series is you're right. Whenever you're a big
because they're defense.
So here's the deal. You talk about high-scoring games. Yeah, we're going to see it because no team in this postseason, very good teams in the West, mind you, has been able to slow down Luka and Kyrie offensively. And they've got a third young man in the mix, Derek Lively, who's kind of the glue. He's not the all-star of the show, but he's absolutely the glue holding the team together. I'll get to more of that in a minute. But the way that this team throws its weapons at you. Talking about the Mavericks. Boston's not only... it's going to be a defensive chess match because you're going to see in this series so much transitioning and switching of guards and who is guarding who in this series to try to keep things fresh and throw the offense for a loop. You'll see it on both sides. But for Boston, they're going to have to put size on the floor. That's how you stop Luka in this instance. They've got the players to do it. They've got the post players down low. They've got the wings to cover. They're going to have to put size on the floor and sacrifice a little bit of speed to get there. The thing with Luka, however, is that he's an all-around package. He's got a beautiful floater jump shot out there, but the thing that the Mavericks do the best out of anything is they shoot corner three-pointers. They led the NBA in corner threes all season. I expect to see a lot of firepower from beyond the arc in this series as well. Now, on the other side of the coin, Boston is top 3 in the NBA in defending that corner 3. So I think for me, foul trouble is a key. Yes, I'm looking at 3-point baskets and who converts more. You're going to see a lot of them jacked up all throughout this series, but who can get them to go in more? I think the size is the key. continuing to move transition players on defense to try to stop Luka. No one's done it successfully all series long, and even if you do get in his way, he's going to dish to Kyrie Irving, he's going to dish to Derek Lively, and they're going to find ways to get to the basket. So high-scoring game, in the words of John Madden, you're going to have to score more points than the other team if you're Boston. I think they have the firepower to do it. Jaylen Brown has really come alive in this postseason, really making a name for himself. And, of course, Jason Tatum, looking for his first ring, star potential, trying to build a legacy as well.
Does Mazzulla have the influence over his players, though? Like Jason Kidd, who's been in finals, who's been in playoffs, he sort of lets his guys free float is the terminology I'm using right now. He necessarily, when they're ready to come out, they come out. If they've got a big run or something like that, tight situations. He doesn't do a lot of off the bench kind of still. He lets them play it out. Whereas you see Mazzulla, he's got this unique style of coaching to where he places the chess, just like you're saying. He's got a set. He draws it up. He almost, I don't know why he doesn't have a sheet in front of him like pro football players, guys, because when he sees the set coming in, he automatically sees him go to the bench. All right, so he's got a reason why he pulls people in and out for a certain set that the other teams have. And if he plays with that style right there, I think he's got a chance because like I said, he doesn't have the experience, but he's winning. And he's a proven winner already. But in these tight games, especially when you saw it with Indiana, he couldn't get his guys in and out. He was getting confused on the TV timeouts, and it was really throwing him off on his game, so to speak, whereas Jason Kidd just goes with the flow. He goes with the flow.
I mean, Kidd has the experience, right? He was a fantastic NBA player, especially in the 90s, especially for this Dallas Mavericks organization. And he does have a bit more on the coaching experience side, I think, as a player, former player / coach. Whereas Boston has had a lot of coaching changes over the years and have had this good roster. I mean, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are not the new guys in the neighborhood over in Boston. And they've done well. They've been able to reach the finals or the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. Getting over that hump has been difficult. And in the West, of course, there's so many weapons out there. Just getting to the stage for the Mavericks, it's taken 13 years to get to this point. So as far as the coaching aspect goes, maybe I favor Jason Kidd's coaching style, but I also try to look at it objectively. Kidd hasn't done anything as a coach either.
No, I know. And at the 2-minute warning right now for the second quarter, answer me this. What about health right now? What about the status of Tatum, and a couple others? What is their health status?
Boston,
and if they go 7, what's going to do? Hey,
Boston's banged up right now.
That's right.
If you ask me, point blank, who's winning this series, I really like Dallas here. Whether they're a 5
hold
seed
the
or
press,
not.
Hold the press. Are we agreeing on something?
I just see what's in front of me. No one's been able to stop Luka, due to averaging basically a triple-double throughout the postseason. When the game plan comes down to, can you stop this guy instead of, can they stop you?
Okay.
I think that speaks volumes.
And then when they double down on him, what's he going to do?
Well, he's got another weapon to go to.
He's dishing.
Kyrie Irving is certainly, he may not necessarily in his prime, but he's still a very great basketball player.
He'll still go to the rack.
I don't know. I think it's Dallas' series to lose.
And who's the other kid that we talked about last week? Wait a minute. Does he have
Daniel Gafford,
Arkansas connection?
The former Arkansas
Razorback.
Razorback.
He don't care. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, that's when the foul problem, that's when I'm pulling it all together on you, Mark, is the foul situation. When they go up to hack, and Boston does that a lot. Of course, and their defense, I know they let it run and run and run and run, but when they get down into it, they hack. And you said they cover the outside shot. Okay? You know why they cover it? Because they're quick to the ball.
Yeah.
Because they're fouling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I still believe
they provide pressure, and this will be the most pressured that I think that Dallas has been all postseason. And yeah, listen, I'm not super confident in Boston because there's been some weird games this postseason. Close games with Indiana. They shouldn't be in these games. With the Pacers shouldn't be what's happening here. But hey, to Boston's credit, they always found a way to get it done, especially in close games. We talked about clutch time last week on the show. Boston has that edge. If this game gets close, and we expect it should be with the caliber of teams we have, we know that Boston has been battle-tested there, and they're not going to get scared and start shying away just because things get tough in the finals.
And something else we'll bring up also next week, I'm pretty sure, is the bench play. There's going to have to be some bench on it because you know as well as I do, and with the foul problems and what I was just talking about a while ago with Missoula, he's going to have that chess match. So when they bring in a certain set, he's going to counter, and then he's going to bring in these guys and those guys. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. But I think you'll see, just like you said, I think it'll be high scoring. I believe that this game. Hey, I'm going to put you on the spot. Does it go 7?
No.
Okay. I'm saying 4-2, Dallas.
I'm even going to say 5 games, Dallas. 4-1.
4-1.
That's how confident I feel in the star power that I see in front of me.
It's on the record right now.
I don't have a dog in the fight.
Third quarter coming up. Stay tuned. You're right here on Sports and Short Tailgate Edition at 92.9.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE. With Tracy Simpson, I'm Mark Oliver. Tracy, time to talk a little baseball here, and our hearts are heavy this week as the Arkansas Razorbacks fall in the Fayetteville Regional. Kind of a real bummer, real big heartbreak for the Hogs at home, ending their season in the Fayetteville Regional. And I know it's a big disappointment, not only for Razorback fans, but really for Coach Dave Van Horn and the program as a whole. You know, when you think about Arkansas this year, it hasn't been the year to remember on any of its sports really at all. You know, the football team not doing so well. Obviously men's basketball really faltering and it losing its coach, getting a bright spot, of course, and a new coaching hire. But baseball was really kind of like the final frontier, maybe the saving grace for the athletic season for the Razorbacks, and ultimately just falling short. Being able to host a regional in 6 of the last 7 seasons for Fayetteville and for Baum Walker has been a really good thing, but just unable to get over that hump in the end. We talked about it on last week's show, some of the woes that we've had with pitching and fielding errors, and it really just feels like the wheels have kind of been falling off and just kind of hobbling toward the finish line there, losing, I believe, 9 out of their last 13 games to close the season. It was a rough finish for the Hogs this year.
Yeah, definitely not on cue with what everybody was expecting, and with the record you and I talking about, well, on the Hill, everybody was expecting them to just go ahead and maybe not sweep, but get ready for the supers and stuff like that. My question is, Mark, is that what they were looking for? Were they looking too far ahead? Because when you come back in a decisive victory with SEMO and then all of a sudden get tossed around like your pitchers couldn't do nothing, and then SEMO just bangs you to death, were they looking ahead?
Honestly, Tracy, I asked myself that question all week long. My answer to that is no. I think they were looking right in front of them, right at the present moment, and seeing what is this team, what is our identity. And I think that they learned, hey, our identity is we have one really, really good pitcher who's going to be an MLB pitcher next season,
right? And
not much else. Not much else to add on to it, And
you knew his time was coming. You knew that he hadn't lost since April. And the stats, the numbers are against you at that level. They've seen enough film by now, and after 2 or 3 innings, they know what he's bringing. And now that you're at this level, when every team is good, you know what I'm saying? He hadn't lost since April. You knew his day was coming.
This was a good Razorback baseball team this season. I don't want to get this twisted at all. You don't go 33-3 at home in the regular season and be just a slouch on the couch kind of thing. This is a team, however, anybody who's ever played baseball knows it is an extremely mental game, and there's slumps. Even the best teams out there. It's why the team with the best record in the MLB doesn't win the World Series every year.
It's who's hot.
It's because it's who's hot versus who's not. And at this stage of the game, the wheels fell off. They lost steam, momentum, whatever you want to call it. The pitching just wasn't there outside of Hagen Smith, and the Razorbacks could not ultimately recover from that. And I think they understood that. And don't get me wrong, I don't think they went out there and just tanked the rest of the season.
47 stranded. That's tanking.
But there's I think it's just bad baseball. And it happens
altogether from playing or coaching side.
I think on the coach. I think there's a little bit here, and it's a great debate on who takes the blame here for coming up short. Here's the deal. I will never be the person that Monday morning quarterbacks and says, all right, Dave Van Horn's got to go.
Right.
He's not getting it done because back-to-back losses at home in this tournament for the first time in 2 years. They end up losing to the 4 seed, Southeast Missouri. They beat them, and then they come back and they beat them out in the losers bracket. It feels bad. It looks bad, feels bad. But I'm never going to be the guy that says, Van Horn's got to go. That's it. I'm done. Because I know what he's accomplished with this program. I know that he is still one of the best managers in college baseball across the country. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the team didn't get it done. And I think it was just a matter of this is the best that they had with what they had in terms of their roster. And it just wasn't good enough. It was not a championship caliber roster.
But he put this roster together.
He did.
And some of those players.
And this team won throughout the year. They did well throughout this year. But in the end, they didn't have enough steam to get across the finish line.
SEMO?
They didn't have the pitching.
And I know, just like I said a while ago, it was the best of the best. Okay, you don't get to the regionals just by.
That's right. That's right. SEMO's not a last place team. No. They were good enough to hit a 4 seed in a regional with some really solid competition, like Kansas State. Kansas State's moving on to the next level.
You and I talked. Hey, we talked about this week before about SEMO having a little chip on their shoulder because there's some of the guys on there that didn't get the big offer from the big D1 schools and stuff.
Exactly. They didn't get an SEC offer.
Does that mean that they're bad players? Absolutely. They showed they weren't bad players.
Yeah. Okay, so what happens next here? Because there is a group out there listening to this show right now saying, Mark, you are crazy. Van Horn has to go. We're not winning championships. He's got to go.
Not winning a championship.
Okay, So, all right, let's say he goes. Let's say, Yurachek cuts him.
Theoretical.
Let's cut Dave Van Horn. Who do you bring in?
You don't.
Who do you find that's going to come in and help this program win immediately? Do you go to a complete rebuild? I mean, the Razorback baseball has outside of track and field, has kind of been one of the big saving graces for the university athletically. You can make an argument for men's basketball, and I'll listen to that argument as well. Maybe not this year, but in recent years, But I am not ready to jump ship here, and I'll be the first to say I'm not a Razorback fan. I do not identify as a Razorback fan. I try to look at this objectively. I'm not ready to jump ship on Van Horn because what else are you going to go get? And how do you know that that's going to turn into results? How many times do you see the coaching carousel spin
basketball and
come up empty? Look at Razorback football for the most part over the years.
No, I wouldn't stooping that low, Mark.
But I know, but you have that in the rearview mirror, whether it's with basketball or with football. I'm just not the kind of guy to roll the dice. I guess that's the theme for this show. I don't take risks.
I'm not buying a ticket for $1 million. But they suffered their first loss ever to a regional 4 seed in 25 years.
Now I'm not on the wagon that says, okay, Van Horn he's here for life. I love this guy. He's never leaving.
22 years.
But I mean, eventually, will a change need to be made? Yeah, probably. But I see hosting a regional 6 out of 7 years, and there's a lot of success. There's a lot of things to be proud of for this team, as long as you get out of tunnel vision where it's championship or bust.
So you change coaches, batting coaches, hopefully.
Well, you could do that.
Well, you got to.
I mean, if it's me, if I'm calling the shots, boy, I'm hitting recruiting really, really hard right now. I'm going out and finding the best pitchers I can get, saying, hey, come help turn this. We're in the SEC for one. You want playing time in the SEC? You come over here and you can be a game changer for this program.
Well, that's why the kid from Lakeside he left Razorbacks and went down to La Tech because he obviously was not going to get. They brought in somebody. They even brought kids in from different parts of the United States. Did they make a difference in the Razorback squad? A couple of them did. All right, third baseman, he definitely showed his stuff. But then the rest of them, I'm not so sure that their decisions on the portal, which we're going to bring that up later because that's what it obviously develops into, is the portal, Mark. And you know that. And it's not so much who's going to be at the top of the draft and such like that, but you've got to make a difference. And if it's not Van Horn, then somebody underneath him. We've got to make it. Of course, you're going to get on the road or you're going to hit the portal, whatever you want to do these days. You know what I'm saying? But they've got to make a change. 47 stranded. 47, and there was no – in teams prior to this year, you saw them come through. You saw them, oh, here we go, 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, the Razorbacks win again. You didn't see that with this.
Remember, call the cops.
Call the cops. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So
I know it's infuriating for Razorback fans out there. I know it has to be stressful because no active coach has more postseason wins than Dave Van Horn. But he doesn't have the trophy at the end. And I know that's got to be agonizing for Razorbacks fans. Here's the deal. You got to hit the recruiting trail hard. You've got to fix the bullpen. Absolutely. You have to get more. Of course, you're going to lose Hagen Smith. There's no way. There's no way that you don't lose. We talk about baseball and life-changing money. He's about to have life-changing money come his way as a top 10 draft pick. We talked about likely going to the St. Louis Cardinals. His life is about to change in a big way. You've got to go and rebolster the entire bullpen, and you may have to go change some hitters too. And I know Van Horn said he's, at the press conference after, he says, he's happy with the coaching staff. He doesn't lean like he's getting rid of anybody, but there will need to be a change in philosophy. And while I said, okay, I'm happy with Van Horn staying, but does the clock start? I think it does. I think a 1-year clock begins now, and it's make the changes you need, because it's 2 years in a row now where it's just agonizing defeats, and it's and listen, I don't know of a single fan base in this entire country more passionate for a team than the Arkansas Razorbacks, because boy, they will let you know when they are unhappy with their team, their management, their organization. Razorback fans are not shy in letting people know how much they hate that they are not winning.
No doubt about that. We'll third quarter's up, fourth quarter coming up. We'll take a look at the super regionals. Also, we've got other things. We've got NHL. We've also got a little bit of tennis going on, and the big news over there in France. So lots of stuff going on here. The Tailgate Edition right here on Sports and Shorts at 92.9 and streaming at kvre.com. Don't forget, you want to put a little input, 915-1300. We'll be right back. Fourth quarter coming up.
Welcome back to Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition right here on 92.9 KVRE. He's Tracy Simpson. I'm Mark Oliver. Talked a lot of baseball today, Tracy. We can't move on without talking about the Super Regionals. I know the Razorbacks aren't moving on, but 16 teams are moving on to be able to hoist that trophy at the end of the season. There's some really good teams still left in this fight, Tracy. Tennessee and Evansville will go to battle in the Super Regional. Evansville advancing out of that regional as the number 4 seed, getting past East Carolina, VCU, and Wake Forest. Do you see that one coming?
They've got to be excited. Evansville. You ever been to Evansville, Indiana?
I may have driven through Evansville.
On your way to Chicago?
Yeah, I may have driven through Evansville before.
That's exciting.
But yeah, I mean, what a dream there. And of course, we talk about it getting hot at the right time. There's some really good baseball teams in that regional. Now they've got a tough task ahead of them with Tennessee. Let's be honest, Tennessee's probably the best team remaining in baseball, and you never know. You never know. Hey, one game to decide it all.
Hey,
you never know.
UConn, they don't only play basketball, huh?
UConn doing very, very well this year. Of course, UConn was the number 3 seed. They were able to take out Duke and beat the likes out of Oklahoma out of that regional too. That's a big, big win for the UConn Huskies. 35-24. They'll take on Florida State. There's a 1 seed there. Could be a tough task for the Huskies to get across. Florida State's actually played really good baseball this season. 45-15 is their record.
Yep.
And they're chomping at the bit to get a shot at Tennessee.
They really got a good bullpen. They really got a good bullpen. I think that they're going to challenge a lot of folks out there. Can Kansas State keep it going after winning the regional against Cavaliers?
Well, I mean, they got a tough task ahead of them. They defeat Southeast Missouri State in order to win the regional, and now they got to take on a very good Virginia team. Virginia is 44-15 this year. They're a number 1 seed coming out of what I would maybe consider a softer regional pool. Virginia hasn't really been tested, certainly not in the postseason. Does Kansas State have what it takes? I don't know. They're certainly coming in with the underdog mentality. Can they rise above? We'll see. But I've got Virginia, I think, as the favorite in that showdown for sure.
Another number 1 who really impressed me, because I was on LSU's bandwagon, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not much. Don't get me wrong. I do purple and gold mainly because Fountain Lake, okay, not LSU. But at UNC, they may be the real deal this year.
North Carolina was the number 4 overall seed coming into the national tournament, and you can tell by their record there, Tracy, North Carolina did falter, at least briefly, in the regional. They got sent to the losers bracket briefly, able to pull it out and get it taken care of. They take on West Virginia. I think North Carolina has what it takes to bounce back, but when you look at whoever's going to win out of those 2 super regionals, is it Virginia versus North Carolina? I think that has a championship caliber matchup attached to it potentially. But North Carolina has shown signs of weakness, and that's good news for West Virginia trying to take down one of the top 4 teams in the nation.
The only reason I went with North Carolina, because, Mark, you were just talking about losers bracket, that's because they had to rebound and then come back, and their bullpen was still strong, and their bats were still, going crazy. And that was the only reason there. I think they'll get through West Virginia, but you're right, Virginia's another well, that's later down the road. But on the other side, Florida's still in it. A 3? Wow. And then Clemson, I thought they only played football over there.
No, Clemson plays baseball exceptionally well as well. They sweep their regional, taking care of High Point, Coastal Carolina, and Vanderbilt. And they're on a tear right now. Clemson 44-14, whereas Florida, has to work for it, getting past a really good Oklahoma State team out of that regional. Clemson is a very tough team to beat. That's on a tear right now. Hard to beat a team that's hot.
Yeah, and that's exactly that. Georgia, can they rely on just one guy's bat the whole way through with NC State?
Well, NC State is a very good team as well. These are 2 number 1 seeds going at it. NC State kind of in the middle of the pack, kind of coming in. They were ranked 10th in the nation entering this tournament, whereas Georgia ranked 7th overall coming in. A lot of good baseball being played in this one. I think you can flip a coin on it.
Condon, man, that guy's he's just crazy right now. I don't know what he's going at, but he goes in the draft, of course he will, and I just see him added more home runs. The pack, no pun intended, I don't know. We'll throw a toss-up on that one. I think the toughest all around right now is Wildcats and the Beavers, man. That right there, these 2 teams, I think, like you were saying a while ago, with Cavs, Tennessee, and the winner of this one right here, I think you're going to see go all the way.
Hey, Kentucky, Oregon State, 2 teams, number 1 seeds out of their regionals. Mm-hmm. They sweep their respective regionals. Yeah, you're right. Championship caliber baseball being played here. We know what Oregon State brings to the table because, listen, college baseball in recent years has been dominated by the SEC. This is a big opportunity for the Beavers to really not put their name out there. It's already
they're
out
the
there.
Only ones that,
but
they're the only ones
to
that
keep it there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are out there to prove that it's not just the SEC's dance anymore.
Right. They're the only ones that have been there besides the SEC, so they know what it's like. We'll slide back a little bit. Their coach, he knows how to get it done.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not bringing it up. I just know he knows how to get it done. All right, so we'll look at that a little bit further after they get a little bit of action coming in this all through the weekend. But as it is right now, NHL set, looking a little different. Panthers are back after being shut out by, of course, a very, very good surprise team with Vegas. But then you got the Oilers who went on a run this year, tied it for the most consecutive wins in all of NHL. And had to come back and show the Rangers what to do. But Oilers, Panthers, I'm looking at Panthers coming back and maybe winning it all this year.
I feel like I owe an apology to all of our NHL fans listening on the show because last week I had the Florida Panthers as the worst team remaining out of the 4 teams out there. Remember, we're like, Dallas Stars, it's your year.
It's going to be all of them.
No,
it's
not.
No,
it's not. No, absolutely not. And Florida getting back in here. Now, Tracy, I don't know if you caught this at the end of their respective games where they win in advance. It starts with Florida. When they're presented with the trophy, not a single player on the Florida Panthers approaches the trophy or lays a finger on the trophy. Last year, they celebrated, hey, we got this trophy, we're going to the Stanley Cup Finals, look at us. And then they didn't get it done.
No.
They came in with a different philosophy this time around, said nobody is touching this trophy until we hold the big trophy at the end. Yeah. And if you saw, Edmonton, when they eliminated Dallas, did the exact same thing. thing. It's this little quirky thing. I love superstition in sports. I think it's very interesting. Neither team would touch the trophy that they just won to send them to the Stanley Cup Finals. I'm really excited about this matchup, and I owe apology to all the Florida Panthers fans out there because they proved me wrong against what I thought was a really good Rangers team. And of course, the Oilers, we knew that they were a very strong defensive unit. Yes, I just thought Dallas had the firepower to get there. They did not. Edmonton and Florida. Fun fact, though, I do have a fun fact here. Mm-hmm. You know I love my fun facts here. So
show me your fun facts.
This is the longest distance between teams in NHL Finals history from Edmonton all the way down to Sunrise, Florida. 2,543 miles one way. Imagine if this goes 7 games. Imagine if this series goes 7 games. Think about the players. They're going to go play the games. But think about all the staff, the announcers, the supports. Think about all the teams that have to fly back and forth across the world for a 7-game series. Are you kidding me? Longest geographical distance in finals history. That's a fun fact for you.
No doubt about it. I like the little surprise at the end. Give us the story, the good story. Every week we try to bring you something positive. This one's an up and down, mountains and valleys kind of deal, Mark. But I'm going to tell you what, every once in a while you get set up and it's tough, even when you're in college and playing.
I guarantee coming into this postseason, no college baseball fan had ever heard of Birmingham Southern. They're the Division III team, and their school was actually set to close its doors right before the postseason began. The university was going out of business, closing its doors forever, but still had a baseball team that was playing in the postseason, and the team just could not lose. An absolute Cinderella run. Birmingham Southern moves all the way to the Division III World Series before, unfortunately, they were ended off of, I believe it was a walk-off ninth inning home run. Yep. They were in the driver's seat, fell just short. And what can you say about the Panthers? A great story, a feel-good story. They had nothing to play for. They didn't have a university to go back home to once
put the trophy there.
And the question I'm asking, of course, working at a college myself, is if they close their doors, who's paying for their meals at this point?
How do they get back home?
I don't know. Those are questions I don't have answers to. Maybe they had budget, or maybe some wealthy donor out there was like, man, what a great feel-good story. But a team that they didn't have a school to play for, they're still wearing their name on their chest, their jersey on their chest. They keep winning. You love to see positivity like that, true leaders like that. Boy, that's a story that's going to last a lifetime. Imagine being those players and having that story in your arsenal to tell your grandkids one day. Unfortunately, their run came to an end. Certainly bittersweet. I think it would have been bittersweet also had they won it all and not really had a place to have that trophy call home after the season was over.
Great story there, and we'll have more for you. Sports and Shorts Tailgate Edition every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. Don't miss out. Mark, have a good one this week, and I'll talk to you next week a little bit more about sports.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 92.9 at KVRE.